What is up, friends? It's morning over here in my apartment. Can't you tell? Coming on for some realness with you. I wanted to bring you this video because I'm going through my morning routine and I like to tell you about what I'm doing in my personal practice. If it's not coming through as like this is unrehearsed, unprepped, I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to show you that even more like authentically, okay? But one of the things I do in my morning is I hum. It drives my dogs crazy. And I personally don't love doing it, but I make myself do it because of the impact it has on my posture and therefore on the way my body moves throughout the day. Don't click off. Listen to this. If you look up on YouTube anterior pelvic tilt and rib flare and about a million other, maybe not a million, a handful of other search terms that people do or do not know are directly related to those two chronic positional conditions of being stuck with flared ribs or stuck with a dumped forward pelvis or a pelvis that's posteriorly tucked and pushed forward, all of the above, okay? You'll see a bunch of videos with a bunch of short-term, I'm sorry to say it, but calling them out, short-term fixes that do not get to the root of the problem. The root of the problem, and the body is tricky like this, okay? There's a lot of chicken, egg, double dutch that goes on in the body. But if you want to get down to the root cause, you most likely, for a lot of these core-based conditions, right? Your pelvis and your ribs are two ends of your core. It is going to come down to a way you breathe, because you are breathing tens of thousands of times a day, and you cannot put yourself in an exercise, do an exercise, or put yourself in an artificial position. For I don't care if you spend an hour there. It is not going to have lasting results if you don't get down to the real root cause of why your body is positioned the way it is. So a rib flare, that's what we're going to talk about today. Rib flare is probably the most important driver of some of these postural suboptimalities, okay? Of being in rib flare, of being distended in front, etc. And these all have a major impact on the way you walk. They have a major impact on how you distribute your weight side to side, front to back, and especially if you're walking forward, the way you carry your center of gravity, the way you control your center of mass. I'm pointing to my belly, my low abs, right? The way I carry my center of mass is predicated on how well I control my entire core, ribs to pelvis. Okay. So one of the things you need to do, or that it's probably advisable for you to do, is to check how much rib flare you have. Most of us have some of it. A lot of us live with tremendous amount of rib flare. Baby bilateral, rib flared on both sides. Rib flared on one side more than the other, also common. And I'm raising my hand because your girl is in that camp. And I think if you watched me walk, watched me move, watched me dance, you would not necessarily be like, that's fishy. I can really see that that's going on in her body. Nope, it can be subtle, and yet you can still suffer from it, okay? Suffer from this, and that means there's some potential benefit that you can improve your movement mechanics with something as simple as adjusting your rib cage position. Now, why are our ribs in a particular position? Because we need to think about that to figure out how we should get them out of it or adjust it. Our ribs are in a position that reflects the way we breathe. If your ribs are flared, they are reflecting an inhaled position. They are in a freeze frame of inhale. And they might be stuck that way because you may have been breathing with your rib cage as opposed to with your diaphragm. Also, your girl is recovering from this problem. I discovered that about a year ago, and then I disappeared from YouTube because I've spent the last year and a half of my life exploring that, and I'm looking forward to teaching you more about what I've learned. But your ribs could be stuck in an inhale position and not allowing you to exhale. That's affecting both your respiration, and because it's affecting your respiration, it's affecting your nervous system and your emotional state 100%, not to mention the oxygenation of your body and all the other things that actual respiration is in charge of, but also very critically and often underappreciated, it is this hair bothering anyone? Also affecting the way you move. It's affecting your ability to control your center of mass, as we talked about earlier. Okay? So one of the things I like to do, now rib flare is much more common than ribs compressed. You can have both, so I don't want to pretend this is just the end all be all for everyone. But it's a simple intervention that is practical and lifestyle based, and I think it syncs up. It's easy to dovetail this into a morning routine as long as you have housemates like my dogs who will forgive you for it. And that is, you're going to hum. Because humming, there's a lot of reasons to hum. There's a lot of reasons. I like to pick stuff that's efficient, right? If I can get more bang for my buck, I want it. So the central reason that I hum in the morning is the one we're talking about here. It's because humming, especially if it's not just a little quick sound bite, right? A little snippet of sound, but a prolonged, muscular, get more endurance in your humming, it is forcing you to have a strong exhale. So it's forcing is a strong word, but it's encouraging and facilitating the opportunity for you to exhale more muscularly, more vigorously. Now we're going to talk, I told you I've spent a year and a half exploring how to breathe better, relearning how to breathe as an adult. And it's taught me a lot about how to relearn how to walk as an adult, actually. So it's perfect material for this conversation for my channel, and I can't wait to share it with the diehards on here, the nerds among you who will dig it. So I don't want you to think that smashing your ribs down is the way to exhale. It's the only way to exhale. But pressing air out from as low as you can find it, really wringing out your core. And again, I'll have more instruction on this, but wringing out your core and finishing it off with pulling your ribs down. Like my ribs, actually, if you can see, I'm kind of just squeezing the sides of my ribs. They're a little sore because not sore in a painful way, but I'm feeling those muscles because for the last 10, 15 minutes, I've had music on that is encouraging me to hum. It actually encourages me to want to sing, but I make myself hum it at a low, really resounding hum, like we'll talk why, in order to push my exhalatory muscles to really get stronger and to upregulate. So that for the rest, upregulate meaning stimulate those muscles to fire, so that for the rest of the day, my tendency, which might be yours, and check YouTube search link for how many people are struggling with rib flare. These are you. If your ribs are naturally staying more inhaled, which is flared, right? Generalizing, right? But that's layperson term, or it's the equivalent of flared is inhaled, okay? If you hum, you could sing, okay? You could sing too, but something that just keeps you, or sigh, do something else. Humming has this other benefit, so I'll tell you that. It's gonna keep strengthening those muscles to prime and pull the ribs down. Okay, in a really sustainable lifestyle-based way, as opposed to, I don't know, lie on the ground on your side with your feet on the wall, stagger your feet, and do some crazy exercise for a few minutes. No, that just, for me, not as practical, and it's not going to have the lasting effect because it's still sort of a workaround and a band-aid. What I need you to do is exhale and get those muscles to pull your ribs down for you. It's the muscles that are, the contraction of the muscles and the lengthening of other muscles, right? It's the imbalance of the muscular activation that has you stuck in inhale. You need to bias the other way, okay? We need to bias the other way and work a stronger exhale to overcome your rib flare. It is more complicated than that, but that really gets the base of the pyramid, okay? That's a lot of what you need to do. So, humming, also, the reason I hum instead of sing, because the music makes me want to sing along, okay? That's the dogs. Again, the dogs are like, yeah, both those habits of her, it's really kind of stuck. But anyway, short of dancing, they're like humming, singing, and dancing. Like, why does she do these things? Let's just go to the park. Anyway, humming also has the added benefit of stimulating nitric oxide production in your nose. I know some of you are like, Julie, we know you're in San Francisco. Please don't come at us with the woo-woo Zen Bowl sound bath shit, okay? I know. We're not going to sit in a circle and chant and hum. That's not my thing either. Nothing against it. No disrespect, but it's not my thing, okay? But nitric oxide production in your body is a big deal. It lowers as we age dramatically, and it's implicated in all your body's systems. Please look into it. Okay, I'm not gonna make this video any longer about that. Look into it. It's more of a side topic for this video. It's a side topic, but it's also a huge upside side benefit of humming is that you're stimulating nitric oxide production, which, for example, if you have a hard time breathing through your nose and you breathe through your mouth, that's also probably why you're stuck in rib flare, because you're not breathing well. Okay, you're constantly gasping for air. That's the physiological equivalent of gasping for air, even if it doesn't feel like that for you. So you need to clear your nose, you need to clear your sinuses, and you need to train these muscles. And one of the ways you can do that is also helping support the whole system by increasing your nitric oxide production. So like I said, has tremendous benefits around the body, and it will help you breathe through your nose better, which will also help you exhale more fully, which will help you align your ribs, which will help you control your center of mass, which will help you walk. So if you have heel pain or back pain, or your ribs don't rotate well, or your hips don't move and rotate well through your walking gait, all of these things are extensions of your core alignment that starts with your ribcage position, which starts with the way you breathe. So friends, can you see why I've needed like a year and a half to come back on here and start sharing some of this stuff with you? Because I realize it's kind of crazy pants, okay? And it's a lot, it's a dense, but I feel like it's my life's work to start to share it with you. So let this another random, unscripted, unplanned video out of order. I can't wait to come on here and make my content more systematically for you. But I also want to come in at these moments that are super real and off the cuff and showing you snapshots from my personal practice, because that's where my expertise comes in. I'm an expert in my own body because I experiment and obsess and analyze and reflect on it constantly. And those are the insights that I want to share with you, not because they're necessarily right for you, although I will share them hoping that they are, but I also, just in case they make you think of something else that is a lead to a string that you can pull on that gives you insights in your body. Okay? So I'll be back with more soon, but in the meantime, put on some music, especially call and response music that will help push you to hum and exhale. Let's do it together. Okay. And you want to extend that as long as possible. And that was more just like visually demonstrative. You can put your hands on your ribs and exhale until not only do you evacuate the air from your lungs and the pressure, the diaphragm coming up and actually evacuating all of the pressure from your respiration system, right? Your deep core. We got to talk about it. The reason I have to keep making these references because I haven't made those videos yet, which is my fault. Okay. But at the top of that, really squeeze the ribs down. Get them nice and strong. If it feels uncomfortable, stop. If you're turning blue or feeling any strain or like you're creating pressure in your pelvic floor, stop. None of that. Okay. We'll talk further, more detail. But in the meantime, I hope humming is something people can do safely. Okay. This isn't medical advice, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I hope humming is something you can do safely. And even if you just start and you could only get a few seconds of humming, that's great to know. That's a red flag. That's telling you your exhale muscles are not strong. Okay. Not strong. And it's affecting you in lots of ways. So I'm going to leave this video because I know I've said a lot. Appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I hope this is useful. Leave questions and comments, and I will be back eventually with some actually like hardcore organized content for you. I promise.